hey, go to the website at feastfamily.com. What would you type? Huh? What? Yeah, if I have a record that's pointing to the, but you still have to have this underlying record with the name of what? You guys are so lazy these days. Not lazy because you don't know this answer, but because whenever you go to a website, and I want to go to Microsoft, Microsoft.com, and let Google do the work for you. Before we had Google, you had to know the name of a website. Michael. Nope, don't have, that's a protocol. www. The host name for my website is www. I have to register that. It's called an A record. If I want somebody to get to my website, I could be www2, okay, and I register that, but then no one would know how to get to the website unless I said specifically. Don't go to www, go to www2.feastfamily.com, which I've done before. Okay, so I have to know, I have to register a host name. It's called an A record. I have to tell DNS on that DNS server that www.feastfamily.com equals what? What is the next thing I have to know? I already know the domain name, it's feastfamily.com. But I have to equate that www.feastfamily.com to something else. Josh. The IP address. And that IP address, where am I going to get that IP address? I've got a server. Where am I going to get that IP address? Huh? No one but Austin. Michael? Negative. Most likely not. Huh? No, where am I going to get the... that's how other people get to it. Yes? What's that? The ISP? The ISP will give me that IP address. They will say, Kurt, you have this dedicated to you, and I'm going to pay an extra $5 a month to get a dedicated IP address. Otherwise, I'm going to get DHCP. DHCP is going to give me a random IP address. Well, if it gives me a random IP address, next week it could be an entirely different IP address. So I can't use DHCP for something as important as www.feastfamily.com, right? I want them to have the same exact IP address every time, because then I register that IP address at the DNS server and say, okay, if people select www.feastfamily.com, send them to this IP address, which is the IP address associated with my server. I manually type in 38.123.7.6 along with the subnet mask and everything else. And then that automatically connects to the ISP, and I can communicate and serve up my web pages. It goes the same for web servers as it does for email servers, as it does for other kinds of servers that I advertise out there. I have to register that if it's going to be available on a public domain. Now, I own the domain feastfamily.com. Like I said, I own the domain HoosierITS.com. If I go worldwide,